In this video, I'm going to go over naming veins and arteries within the kidneys. So remember that oxygenated blood is going to come from the aorta, and it is going to go to different tissues and organs of the body. It's going to become very, very small. We call it arteriole. And the capillaries are going to basically give off oxygen to different tissues of the body. So here you have an artery, and that's why it's red. It's oxygenated blood. It's going to come into this capillary over here, give off oxygen to different tissues of the body, and it's going to return by the veins. And the veins mostly contain the oxygenated blood. So the kidneys are going to be a little bit different. So what you have here is two capillary systems together. The reason for that is because oxygenated blood does travel to the kidneys to provide oxygen for tissues of the kidney. However, it has another purpose, and that is to filter the waste products within the blood. So you have this capillary over here that's going to filter the waste products, and this capillary over here that basically gives off oxygen to tissues. So first you have the renal artery, which is going to branch. It's going to branch several times, and we're going to talk about that. And then until it becomes very, very small, you have the efferent arteriole. This is going to bring blood into the first capillary, which is called the glomerulus. The glomerulus filters the blood, and the efferent arteriole takes that blood away. So as you can see here, the color has not changed. It's red, and that's because it is still oxygenated blood. And what happens here is that the red blood cells are going to remain inside the capillaries. So other things that are small enough within the blood are going to get filtered out. However, the red blood cells stay inside the vessels here. Now the second capillary, this one is what gives oxygen to different tissues. So as you can see this color change here. You have oxygenated blood, and then you have deoxygenated blood. And the purpose of this capillary over here is to give oxygen. So these are called in the kidneys peritubular or vasorecta. It's either going to be one or the other depending on the type of nephron. And I'm going to talk more about that in another video. And then the blood is going to return by veins. So the important thing to take away from this is that kidneys have a little bit of a different structure of veins and arteries as compared to other tissues. You have two capillaries in a row, and each one has a different purpose. Glomerulus is the first one, and this one is for giving off oxygen. So let's look at it on a model. So right here, this is going to be the renal artery. The renal artery is going to branch. So as soon as it branches, all these branches over here are called segmental. And then segmental is going to branch again, as you can see. This is called lobar arteries. And it will branch again, and it's going to move in between the pyramids. So when it moves in between the pyramids, these are called interlobar. So you had lobar here, and then it will branch, move in between the pyramids. We call it interlobar. And then the interlobar arteries are going to wrap around the base of the pyramid. So these are called arcuate arteries. And then they're going to branch out again to extend out to the cortex, basically. And these are called interlobular or corticoradiate. There's two different names for these. You want to make sure you don't mix up interlobar and interlobular. So this is interlobar and this is interlobular. And remember, the red ones are going to be the arteries. So as you could remember, this is going to branch again. They're going to continue to branch. So we can't see the rest of the branchings here so well, so I'm going to use this portion over here. This is sort of supposed to represent the renal pyramid. This is supposed to be the cortex. So if you think about this portion right here, this is what that is supposed to represent. It's just a bigger version so you could see the structures within that portion better. So these are going to be the arcuate arteries. Remember, arcuate arteries are the ones that wrap around the base. These are going to be interlobular, they extend out to the cortex, or corticoradiate. And they're going to branch again. So if we take a close look, here is the interlobular artery and it's going to branch again. So here, this branch is going to be the afferent arteriole that I was talking about earlier. Here's another one, afferent arteriole. And then this, inside this capsule, is the glomerulus. And so the same thing here, these are all capsules, and what's contained inside of them is the glomerulus. So you have the afferent arteriole, goes in to the glomerulus, and then you have efferent arteriole, what's coming out. We could look at it on another model right here. Now this whole capillary, this thing right here, this is the glomerulus. This is the first capillary that I was talking about, and it filters the blood. So this is going to be the afferent arteriole right here. This is the efferent arteriole over here. So again, afferent arteriole, efferent arteriole. The reason why these two sides look a little bit different is because there's cells covering the glomerulus that I'm going to talk about in another video. And so here's afferent, efferent. And remember, what happens after the efferent arteriole is that we enter into the second capillary system. So, and this is where oxygen is given off. So this right here, these are the peritubular capillaries. And there's also another type of capillary that I could enter into, as you could see from here. This is the vasa recta. So the bigger ones that are in the medullary portion, these are going to be called vasa recta. These are going to be peritubular. And then, as you could see, the blood is deoxygenated, so it's coming back by veins. So this one over here, this is going to be the corticoradiate or interlobular vein. This is going to be the arcuate vein. And let's look at it on this one. Here's corticoradiate or interlobular. Just use whatever term is on your checklist. And then the one covering the base of the pyramid, that's going to be arcuate. And then same way it came in, you have interlobar veins. And there is going to be no segmental vein. So, and then you just have the renal vein. So again, corticoradiate vein, arcuate, interlobar, no segmental, and you just have renal vein.